Hi and welcome to Sven's Bricks. My name is Sven, and in this video I'm going to be looking at 8 unusual and weird pieces that I've found in different mixed Lego lots. So all of these are found in second-hand purchases. I buy quite a bit of mixed Lego for my mock building, mainly because I don't like stealing pieces from my actual sets, because if I then use the parts, I then forget that I've used it for that mock, and then I can't build the set if I want to do that. So I tend to buy mixed lots of Lego when I see them cheap or at a good price, and I really enjoy looking through the mixed Lego and finding unusual pieces. My wife also sits and goes, "Oh, look at this piece that I found, and look at this piece, and where's this piece from?" And most of the time I know the answer, or at least I've seen it before, but just occasionally I'm like, what on earth is that? And the piece that I'm going to save for the very end is from my most recent purchase. And I've almost never seen anything so specialised and weird from Lego. I was quite taken aback actually. But anyway, 8 unusual and weird Lego pieces, let's go. Right, so the first piece we're going to look at is 73090. This piece was used mainly in train sets during the 1980s. And you might think that this looks like a brick or a normal brick. But it's not. It has a weight in it. It actually weighs 52 grams, this. And you can hear when I rattle it that it has some sort of metal weight in it. I read online that some people have opened these up and found iron or steel metal. There's some discussion about what kind of metal it is. But anyway, these were used in trains in a total of 17 sets. Most of those were train sets. Some of them were sort of parts packs for building engineering type models. It was available in 3 colours, and you can pick these up for about €3 on Bricklink. Usability factor here on this one, I think if you're building something that needs some weight, I think it has a lot of usability, because then you're actually using authentic Lego. There's many mock builders out there that insist on using authentic Lego parts. And if you really need weight for some reason, maybe it's to hold something down in water, or to hold something down that travels, then this is a useful part. So strangely for a Lego brick, this is actually sort of sealed with glue, apparently, according to what I've read online. So there's kind of like a little lid there. You can open up if you want to, but I'm not into damaging my Lego bricks, so I will save that for somebody else to film. Next up is piece number 2467. This is a concave panel that was used in between 1989 and 2000. Only 7 sets in total, but quite a variety of those. Everything from this Mission Commander, which was a blue part, to this polar base, which I've never seen before and I actually really like. And then there's also this nice little victory lap raceway, and 1 or 2 others. It's available in 4 colours, with the blue being the most valuable. I also have 1 or 2 in white. But I think usability, I think there's all kinds of things you could come up with these. I mean, for me, they have a bit of a corridor vibe of a spaceship. But you know, you could put them on its side to create interesting angles and shapes. The back of them are also quite interesting. So I'm sure that these have been used in very many mock creations, and is definitely a piece that I have in mind when I'm building mocks, especially kind of space and vehicle mocks. Next up is piece number 44511, which is a roof dome used in 4 sets. One was an Orient Expedition set, a really lovely set to be honest with you, and then the other 3 were Belleville sets. So it came in 2 different colours. It came in white and magenta, and these were manufactured from 2003 to 2004. And I think that in terms of usability, well, there's probably some ingenious uses that could be thought of, but it has a very specific shape, and it's that kind of dome roof shape to it, which many mock builders might want to use for sort of Arabian style buildings is what comes to mind for me. But this is a nice shape. It is hollow, so you can put 2 of them together to create a full-size dome, or you can just leave it like that, and then you wouldn't even know that it's hollow. You can pick these up for about €3 on Bricklink, so not too expensive a part, and it will give quite a presence to your mock. Let me just put a minifig there for scale, but this is a large piece. So if you put that on the top of a tower, you'll certainly see it. Next up is piece number 820. This is a garage floor from the late 1950s to the early 60s. My piece is in rather poor condition. It should obviously be pure white, and someone has scribbled a load of crayon all over this, and it's got quite sun bleached and damaged over the years. And actually this little flappy bit here is supposed to stick up slightly, because the whole point was that when you pressed on that, then there was a garage door that was sort of stuck behind here. This is supposed to be sticking up like that. And when you pressed on it, the garage door flipped open, as you can see in this set. You can pick these up for under €1 now, but to be honest with you, usability is low on this one, I would say, unless you're really just trying your hardest to use weird and wonderful pieces. Then I think that the reason these are purchased is really just to complete an old Lego set rather than mock builders. But correct me if I'm wrong, if you know of a smashing way that this has been used in a mock. The thing I like most about this is the really old school Lego logo on the back. It was quite fun to pick one up for the collection. Doubt I'll ever use it though. Next up we have this portal piece. This is number 30528. This was only manufactured in 2 colours and was only available in 3 sets. Very sort of space inspired, and true enough, all 3 sets were space sets. 2 of them were Life on Mars sets, which is a rarer theme. And then it was also used in a Star Wars set. This is one of the least valuable pieces in this video. You can pick these up for about €0.5. They're also available in sand purple, and strangely enough, that colour's even cheaper. Personally, I think this is a great piece for mock building. I'm sure that you could come up with all kinds of uses with the different textures that are on here. I think it's got some interesting shape to it. So usability for me is relatively high. I mean, you couldn't use it for almost anything, but certainly for hallways, doors, that kind of thing. A lot of use for this one, I think. Now this next one you might think is a Bionicle piece, and you're all going to be screaming at me, well, all the Bionicle pieces are strange and they're not that unusual because there's so many of them and nobody cares about them. And actually I thought this was a Bionicle piece until I looked it up, but this is not a Bionicle piece. This is number 32306 and is a Technic wheel holder. It was only produced in 2000 and in 7 sets, and I believe all of them were from the same range, called Technic Robo Riders. I'd never even seen this theme before. Super specialized piece. These sides you can sort of squish and they move. Very hard to know exactly where the attachment points are on this, but I think it may have been on these little bits here. Also relatively worthless. You can pick this up for less than €0.5. Usability on this one I think is very low, but then again I'm not a Technic builder really. Maybe there are some good uses for it, but I think it's an ugly shape. I don't think it's a useful or an interesting shape, and it has very few connector points on it. So I'd be absolutely fascinated to see this used in a mock. Please do drop a comment if you've seen this used by a mock builder. This next piece, or rather pieces, because they come in pairs, there's a left side and a right side, is an exhaust pipe, and it's piece number 4466. And this is actually the piece that was manufactured for the longest amount of time in this video. This was actually manufactured for a full 20 years, from 1983 to 2003. So maybe it's not that rare and unusual, but in 20 years it was only used in 10 sets. So for me at least, it's a more unusual piece. It came in 5 different colours and the value is relatively low. The most sought after colour is a pearl light grey used in this extreme racer. So they're worth about €1.5 per side, so you'd need to spend a full €3 to pick both of them up in that colour. But otherwise, I actually thought this was a Fabuland piece before I looked it up. But it's actually only used in one Fabuland set. It comes in quite a variety of sets otherwise over the 20 years that it was manufactured. Usability, I think you could use it like a pipe or something for a factory, or the top of a lorry, but I think it's quite vehicle specific. So not high usability, but I think it's got some cool shape and texture to it. So definitely one to keep your eye out for if you're into building vehicles. Okay, and then finally we have this extremely specialized chariot piece. This is number 33202 PX1, worth about €1, available in just 2 sets, both of them from Belleville. Strangely enough, one of those sets came in 2000 and the other one came 4 years later, and both of them have exactly the same printing, so the sets are very, very similar, to be honest with you. This is really such a specialized piece. I was quite surprised when I found this. I actually thought originally that it was built because my son started to play with this particular mixed Lego that I picked up, and they came to me with this with lots of other pieces on top, and I didn't even realize to start with that it was actually one big piece. But this is a really specialized and odd piece, if you ask me. I had no idea that this existed, and I probably will never use it. But because it's not really worth very much, it'll probably just end up lying in a tub full of large Lego pieces. But maybe one day I could find a use. But it's such a special shape that I think you could only really use it for a chariot or some sort of a vehicle. I mean, I suppose you could use it on top of a building or something, but then you might need 2 of them in order to complete the archway here. Or yeah, let me know if you think this is an interesting piece and that you can find a use for it. Personally, I haven't thought of one yet. I thought it was interesting to show because I think this was during the era that Lego made these extremely specialized pieces, and it actually led to them losing a lot of money because they were creating brand new molds all the time that were a bit too specialized to be reused, and I think that was proved by the fact that it was only used once again, and in only 2 sets. Finally then, just for a bit of fun, I'm going to throw in a bonus piece, and the reason I'm not including this in the 8 is because this is a minifigure piece. This is a transparent red hook. It was only produced in 2002, and it was only available in 4 sets, and all of them were part of the rather strange theme called Alpha Team. I really like this piece. I think it's super cool for sort of steampunk pirate building, that type of thing. Not massively usable. I think you'd be pushed to find a use for this that isn't attached to a minifigure or pirate related, but a super cool piece nonetheless. So that's it for this video. This was an interesting exercise for me actually, because looking up the pieces on Bricklink, I also then discovered sets that I hadn't seen before, in particular the polar base, which I really, really like. As a mock builder myself, I particularly enjoy finding more unusual pieces because I can then use them in my building to make the buildings more unique, and to make them stand out from the crowd. You get comments like, gosh, that piece isn't Lego, surely that piece can't be Lego. And it's fun to point out and to introduce people to parts and sets and even themes that they hadn't even heard of before, because there really are just so many of them. I've got more videos in the works, including an update on my Western mock in the background here. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe. I'd be fascinated to hear about unusual and weird Lego pieces that you've found. Please drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to look them up and reply. And as always, thanks for watching and bye for now.